Another one of my favorite dishes is a pumpkin curry. Like, I like pumpkin in just about anything. I love my pumpkin soup in winter. I like pumpkin roasted. I like pumpkin done in just about any way. So pumpkin curry is something that's a little bit unusual. We are using a Kent pumpkin or a Kent squash. That works best for this particular dish because it's slightly sweeter. So you're gonna get a little bit of the spices through, but the sweetness through naturally as well. Let's see how to make pumpkin curry.
Let's look at the ingredients for a pumpkin curry. Firstly, the pumpkin itself, I use Kent pumpkin, which is a much sweeter variety when you cook it. It's quite large, and you can generally tell by the pattern on it. So in America, obviously it's called a squash. Elsewhere around the world, pumpkin. And when we cut them up, we are going to keep them quite small, slice it and then chop it. That's probably the right perfect size for it. Let's look at everything else that's going to go into it. No onion in this one. We will have some garlic, curry leaves. Then we look at the seeds. We're only using mustard seeds in this one. Mustard seeds, cardamom. We are going to use a whole green chili sliced. You can actually slice it lengthwise and pop it in there so you can take it out afterwards if you would like. Completely up to you. And obviously salt. Then we are going to add, this is desiccated coconut. So it works really well with the pumpkin, and that's added right at the end.
So to make this pumpkin curry, you're going to need a slightly deep pan. Make it a big pan. We don't want the pumpkin to be sitting on top of each other. They're going to be all flat and cooking in the juices and taking in all the flavors of the spices that we're going to add in.
Okay, so we've got the pan on the fire. First things first, we're going to get some vegetable oil in there. A couple of tablespoons. You don't need much. Just let it heat a little bit. Make it go all the way around. Wonderful. We're going to add just the green chilies. No onions in this one, just the green chilies. And then we're going to add the curry leaves and let that go for maybe half a minute to a minute. So we don't want to have that going for too long. We're going to add the cinnamon stick. I'm going to add a whole cinnamon stick this time. And we're going to add the pumpkin straight away. Now, add your mustard seeds. I'm going to add two teaspoons of mustard seeds because we do need that flavour to come through. Now, the reason we've got the pumpkin in there is to release some, to get them heated up and to get them a little bit roasted so that we release some of their sugars. So some of that caramelization occurs and we get that slightly sweeter taste. So I'm going to keep that on the pan for about 2 minutes, and then you're going to start seeing it soften a little bit, but also get a little bit of color, which means that they become caramelized and release some of their natural sugars. It's been about 2 minutes on the stove, and when you turn them around, turn the pumpkin around, you're going to start seeing that they've got a little bit of oil on them and a little bit of browning to them, which means that they've started releasing some sugars and they've started caramelizing a little bit. So, that's good. We are going to add the garlic in at this point. I generally don't like garlic roasting too much, so it goes in, and straight away what we're going to do is add a generous 2 cups of water, 2 cups of water, and then we are going to add in half a teaspoon of turmeric. And we are going to simmer that through until everything is absorbed. So it's going to take about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes I reckon. We'll see how we go. So we've been going for about 10 minutes and you can see that the water's been absorbed. I haven't moved the pumpkin around much at all. I've just let it slowly soak in and just giving it a little fry. So as soon as it's starting to go all the way through, you know that it's nearly done. Just moving them around a little bit so they get a little bit more exposure. And that's about it. We are going to take out the cinnamon stick and we are going to add in just over the top, get the coconut all the way through. And that mix of flavors is going to come through very quickly. Add the salt as well, so that's a teaspoon of salt. It's done. We'll turn it off and let it sit. So we'd probably let it sit for about 5 minutes and then we're ready to go. And the final thing we want to add in there is some pepper. So black pepper all the way across so that it gives you a little bit of a sting because there's no red chili in there. And it really balances through that beautiful sweetness.
So here we go, Sri Lankan pumpkin curry. It is absolutely beautiful. Make sure you add some cracked pepper on top so that it balances out that sweetness. It is one of my all-time favorite curries. Mix it with some other curries and rice and you're good to go. Enjoy and see you soon.